Joe, thanks for all this. And I keep thinking of Ron Ziegler back in the Nixon administration during Watergate. Did Nick von Hoffman, the columnist, referred to it as a Schwarzwald clock figure, a cuckoo that came out once in a while, said something ridiculously wrong and dishonest, and then retreated back into the clock. Well, Rudy Giuliani is not a Schwarzwald clock figure, but he is out there like a rodeo clown. What's his role? To distract us, to take the heat, to muddy the waters? How do you see his role?
I think he is distracting us, and we shouldn't let him distract us. If there is a theory behind his ridiculous statements, it's hard to figure out what it is, but possibly it is to deliberately distract or to sort of announce in advance what bad news is coming, because as defense lawyers, it is not atypical for us to try to get it out before it comes out so that it sounds less bad to a jury. But in this case, I think when it comes out in context, it will sound even worse because he's been going back and forth. If he would at least stick to one story, it would be better. But he doesn't. He says tapes. Oh, whoops, I shouldn't have said tapes. Oh, well, there were tapes, but it has nothing to do with this. You can't get away with that.
What do you think of this? Do you think he's always clear-headed when he does these interviews, to put it bluntly? Is he always sharp of mind when he decides to go on television? Sometimes when he goes on with Chris Cuomo, it's after dinner. I'm not sure that's the best time to go out and go on national television. Not a thought.
I think if there is any degree of confusion, it comes from whatever conversation or exchange he had with Donald Trump beforehand. And so he's trying to sort of mix together all the various angles that probably Trump has talked to him about. Because at the end of the day, Rudy is there to be the front man for Donald Trump and to basically parrot back to the public what Donald Trump is.
Does he know what he's talking about? Because he does this thing. They used to, the communist suspects back in the bad old blacklist days would say, I'm not a communist, but if I am, so what? And he keeps saying he didn't do it, but if he did, so what? He always has that fallback thing. He does.
Because then that puts the onus on you to prove what's so bad about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so it puts you a little bit in the defensive to come back and go, well, this is what's wrong with what you're doing. So he throws it out there and says, well, so what if it is? What's the big deal? Why are you making such a big deal of this? It dumbs down the conversation.
Is it a prevent defense?
It's obvious. Yeah, very much a prevent defense.
Let them have the yardage. Joe, I don't know if you follow NFL, but basically it's let them have the yardage. We're ahead in touchdowns. We'll give him a few yards. He says things might be illegal or might be legal. First of all, he says he didn't do it. Then he goes, well, he may have had that conversation. Yeah, he may have had that business deal right through the end of the election. Oh, yeah, he may have been colluding, but that's not illegal. That seems to be non-lawyerly, but what do you make of that kind of fallback he keeps pulling?
Well, the best news of this, as a lawyer who has heard almost every lawyer joke you could hear, is that he's really acting as a PR agent. He's not acting as a lawyer.
Right.
I don't know when he last practiced law, so he's giving PR people a bad name instead of lawyers, and I'm relieved about that because he's making legal gobbledygook. It's just nonsense.
Well, another bizarre exchange. Here he is. Rudy Giuliani was asked if he was at all worried that his public legacy would be affected by his tenure as Trump's lawyer. He told the New Yorker magazine, absolutely, I'm afraid it will be on my gravestone. Rudy Giuliani, he lied for Trump. Somehow I don't think that will be it, but if it is, so what do I care? I'll be dead. This is Rudy talking. I'll be dead. I don't think as a lawyer I ever said anything that's untruthful. I have a sense of ethics that is as high as anybody you can imagine. Mike.
He cares. Trust me, he cares. He does care very much. And the defensive tone of that, the way he comes back around on that, tells you that that is concerning to him, how he's perceived publicly. I mean, he was the mayor of New York at 9/11. And that
America's mayor.
That had a level of gravitas to it that surpassed everything. And now, compared to what he's doing, you know, yeah, he's.
I'm with Michael because with all Rudy's problems, like announcing his divorce on television, all that with Donna Hanover, all that terrible personal stuff, he was somebody during the hell of those days after 9/11 that was giving us the news as he got it. I remember talking about anthrax and coming out explaining we just got this, we just got that. That's what you want. You want the cop, the police commissioner, the mayor on the corner when there's a 5-alarm fire. You want them standing there giving you the stuff. Now he's giving us what you call gobbledygook. It's not a good show.
Exactly. You know, I worked with him in the organized crime section, and he was a very revered and respected lawyer. He did a good job then, and something has diminished him. It's his behavior, of course, has diminished him, but I don't know why he is acting this way, and that's something that worries me as to why is he acting this way.
Well, I think it was Joe Louis, the great boxer, who became an official greeter out at Caesar's Palace. You know, some people get these second careers, they're not quite as spiffy as the first.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.